You can feel the energy inside this building and also across the street. The NFL Draft has finally arrived.
With the first pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select.
And so it is. The assumed is really happening.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the People's GM channel, and I am the People's GM. Now, if you don't know, what we do here is we take over your favorite, our favorite, somebody in the world's favorite sports professional franchises. This week, working our way up to the NFL Draft Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We are doing all 32 NFL teams. Next up on the list, that's right, the Baltimore Ravens. Now let's dive right in. They went 11-5 last year, playoff team, kind of got bounced earlier than expected. Same kind of story, able to run the ball, but when it came to it, didn't have those weapons offensively to get the ball downfield. Big trade this week with the Kansas City Chiefs trading away Orlando Brown, their starting right tackle. So in this draft, we're got to address that wide receiver position. We're going to have to address that tackle position. We're going to try to get better on the edge here, see if we can build out some depth on the defensive line as well as the defensive backfield. But this team is close. Your boy, the People's GM, is here. We're going to close that gap and get to that Super Bowl. Now, where we're doing that is the PFF 2021 NFL Draft Simulator. Go look it up. It's awesome. We're doing, again, all 32 teams. Baltimore Ravens on the clock. Let's go. Now, thanks to that trade, we do have 2 first-round picks. But again, we've got big needs. Usually, if you've watched the channel, you know I love to get that draft capital. I love to trade back. But sometimes you just got to take those best players. When you're this close, like the Ravens are, we got to find playmakers to help us make that Super Bowl. 5 trade offers here. Want us to drop to 29. But here's the deal. Right off the bat, Elijah Moore, wide receiver out of Mississippi. Look at this guy. 8 games, 86 receptions in 8 games this year on 101 targets, 13.9 yard average. You see it go up. You see the touchdowns go up. You see the receiving rate. You see the drop rate, 2.3%. Great versus man coverage. There it is. All right, production. He's 5'9", he's 185, but the dude is gonna produce for us. Plain and simple. With that being said, the pick is in. No shock here at number 27. Elijah Moore, wide receiver out of Mississippi. We check a big old box. Boom, shaka boom. Now, one of those other needs, like we talked about, was that edge rusher, as well as building out that secondary depth. Now, here's what's great. 3 guys on our big board meet those things. We've got Jalen Phillips, defensive end out of Miami. Right there, tier 1 edge defender in the NFL. Injury history, okay, a little bit of a who knows, but, again, we're in a position where we got to take some calculated risk. Asante Samuel Jr., again, got a little NFL royalty there, 5'10", 184. Love to see him a little bit taller, but again, being that nickel, maybe the dime, we're not getting any younger in that secondary, so it could be a nice injection of youth. And then Azeez Ojulari, the defensive end out of Georgia, again, major pedigree. Look at these grades. First step that puts fear in offensive tackles right there. Flat out knows how to get to the quarterback. Again, could be a great addition to this defense. Now, we do have 1 trade offer to move back to 51. That's a joke. Not doing that. They're crazy. Next pick's not till 94. But with that being said, the pick is in. We're going Azeez Ojulari, ready to come start for us right away at that defensive end spot. Boom. 2 picks in. We've addressed with 2 starters, 2 guys that are going to help contribute and win that Super Bowl. Now, as you know, pick 94, we've still got tackle. We've got to work on that offensive line. We've got to see if we can increase some weapons. We've got to see what we can do top to bottom with this team. Now, at 94, we've got 4 trade offers, one of which is the Chargers. Let's go back to the big board. We got a lot of guys we like. We like Bobby Brown here, potentially. We like Brown. We like Herbert at running back, but not for us. I mean, again, the kid is good. Trey Brown's a good option here. Robert Hainsey's really more of a guard, but again, a guy that would be some great value. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if we can't get a 2-for-1 here, get the guy we want, as well as some picks. So we're going to say give us the 97, give us the 118, give us a 6th rounder next year, You can get the 94. Let's see what they say. Boom, and they took it. You know how we do. You watch the channel. You know we've got to get that 3-to-1 value trade. So here we are resuming. We're dropping 3 picks back. Let's see who they wanted. They wanted Chris Evans, running back out of Michigan. That's fine. We didn't. They wanted Tommy Tremble. That's fine. We didn't. They wanted Asa out of UCLA, defensive tackle. Again, we would have taken him, but not our top pick. Our top pick that we wanted, still on the board here at 97. We got some extra picks. We got draft capital for next year. With that being said, the pick is in. We're going Robert Hainsey. Big, 6'5", 290 tackle, potentially playing guard or center. Either way, he's going to come in and help that offensive line, and we're scooping him up for a steal here at pick number 97. Now we're right back on the board at pick 104. We got one trade offer to move back to 111. We've got pick 118. I think at this point, though, we've got to get better. So let's look at the areas where we want to get better. We've talked about building some depth at cornerback. We've talked about offensive tackle. And then, again, the big one in the room is, can we continue to build out that wide receiver room? Now, going back to the depth chart, again, we've got Marquise Brown, home run hitter, not a guy that's going to catch 95 ball. He's going to be a 45 ball. He's kind of that tool guy. He's going to catch long passes. He's going to have those things. Sammy Watkins, back end of the career, don't know what he's got left in the tank. Miles Boykin, same thing, just hasn't lived up to expectation. Mark Andrews is basically our only first down threat kind of guy, and we've got to add to that. Now, here's what's great. We've got 4 great options right here. We've got Trey Brown, cornerback out of Oklahoma. Again, middle grade, looking for a slot corner in a matchup, man-heavy scheme, just like us. He's got to be high on the list. Again, 5'10", 186. But Dax Milne out of BYU, 6'1", 190. There it is. NFL caliber route runner. Physically a tier below the guys at the top of the class? Sure. But again, we need a guy who's going to catch first downs, right? We've got home run hitters. We need a guy that's going to come in. Now we got another guy, Simi Fayeko, 6'4", 227 pounds, out of Stanford. Physical specimen. Love to see that, right? He's just not a receiver yet. So again, a little bit of a project guy, a little bit underdeveloped, but again, physically, what a scary, stinking dude. And then, of course, we have Wild Goose, the cornerback out of Wisconsin. Again, 5'11", 197, man coverage, physical profile. That's still a coveted skill set, so you know what's up. We've got 4 great options. That being said, the pick is in. We're taking Dax Milne out of BYU wide receiver. Yes, that's right. We are treating this draft different. We've looked at it. We've seen Lamar Jackson. We know what he can do. We've got to get him the tools around him to help him be great. Now, here we are back on the clock. We got 5 trade offers at pick number 118. So it looks like the Patriots want to jump up, probably take a Trey Sermon, maybe a Fayeko, maybe a Justin Hilliard. Good news is we like Aaron Banks here. We like Hunter Long at tight end. We like Tuiapa Loto at defensive interior out of USC. We like Jonathan Cooper, defensive end out of Ohio State. We got a bunch of options here, so let's see if we can't do what we do and extract that value. So we're going to say give us those 120, 122, and a 7th rounder next year for that 118. You know what? And a 4th rounder next year. Let's get real crazy. Probably not going to accept it. Wow, wait a minute. Yes, they did. So we got 2 picks over the next 5 and a 4th rounder next year. New England has gone out of their mind. I don't know what they're doing. Let's see what they did. So they moved up to take Smith Marset, wide receiver out of Iowa. Ballsy move on their part. Good news is now we've got 3 picks over the next 11, so we can get after it. Again, a lot of options here. Aaron Banks is just a guy that we've got to take a real hard look at. 6'6", 330 pounds, right? Okay, not a ton, right? Not a ton of upside, but pretty high floor. So again, he's another guy that we like. That is he going to be? Is he going to be a guy that probably starts for us? No, but is he going to provide some depth? As you can see, we really lack that quality depth on that offensive line, and we got to get some guys in that room. Again, we've got Fayeko, the physical freak. Do we have time to develop him? Is that the right pick? Probably not. Again, 2 defensive interior guys. Again, we've got Hunter Long at tight end. We've got Jonathan Cooper. There's just a ton of options here. That being said, we're going with the big guard out of Notre Dame, Aaron Banks. Let's get him on board. We're right back on the clock. Let's see what else we can do. Now, Nixon, defensive tackle out of Iowa. Again, 6'3", 305. Solid round defensive tackle. Too infrequently a difference maker. So again, not a guy that's coming in and making a ton of explosive plays on that defensive line. Same thing here, right? Should be solid depth piece as a run defender. Okay, now again, we go back. Again, we're a 3-4, and so we've got the Derek Wolves. We've got guys that are going to make plays, but we've got to continue to build that depth. Now, we could do that. However, we're not going to do that. So the pick is in. We're going Jonathan Cooper, edge rusher, out of Ohio State. You see what he did here. Physically limited player who profiles as a depth piece in the NFL. That's fine because, again, this is a guy that we need in that room. He's a high-quality guy, high-character guy, going to help in the locker room, going to help us take that next step. Now, we're right back on the clock here at pick 136. We've got another interesting guard in David Moore out of Grambling State. Big knock on him is a little bit less competition, but as you know, I say it every time, playmakers come in all shapes and sizes, and they go to schools of all shapes and sizes. Now, Marco Wilson, also an interesting prospect here at this point in the draft. But that being said, again, we said we were committed to getting better, and we're going to get better. We're going to take David Moore. The pick is in. David Moore, Grambling State guard. All right back on the clock, like we said. Now, we're going to look at a couple different positions. We're going to look at cornerback again, see if we can't continue to build that depth. We're going to look at wide receiver, see what's out there, right? So we've got a bunch of cornerbacks here. So clearly with our big board, we've got a bunch of guys here, and we've also got a trade offer. So let's see what the trade is. Move back to 159. That's 23 picks. That seems too extreme. We're not interested. Now, again, what can we do to get better? One of the things right there is just take the best available player, which right now is McGrone, 6'1", 236 linebacker out of Michigan, speedy downhill player who needs to develop. Don't disagree with that. Again, coverage grade, not great. Got to get better. Here's the great part. This is a guy that we can come bring in right now, can play special teams for us, can develop in a veteran linebacker room. Makes a ton of sense. Marco Wilson, also, again, guy that's got to develop. Trill Williams could come in and start right away, but do we need another corner? That being said, the pick is in. We are taking McGrone, linebacker out of Michigan. Let's get him on that defense. Let's give that defense a little bit of depth like we said we needed. We're Super Bowl or bust this year. Now, we've got 3 picks left. In case you don't know, at the end of this, we're going to get graded. So PFF will give us a pick-by-pick grade as well as an overall grade for your boy, the People's GM. Now we're back on the board. Let's see what's out there. Safety, interesting corner opportunity here out of South Carolina. Bryson Thompson, cornerback out of Tennessee. Malcolm Koonce, an interesting developmental prospect out of Buffalo. Let's take one more gander, though, at that tight end position as well as that wide receiver position because, again, we want to see what's out there. Austin Watkins, good, interesting opportunity here. Again, had a better 2019, half the games in 2020. But, again, look at those targets and receptions. 35 receptions, 13.6. Last year, full 19.2, right? There it is right there. Dude is good. Surest hands in the draft class. 6'3", 210. A little bit bigger dude. You know, something we could like in our offense. Now, we've also got Antonio Nunn, a little bit of a speedster there. And then John Bates, a well-rounded tight end. So again, health is an issue with Nick Boyle. Mark Andrews, clearly the starter, but our backup. You know, can he stay healthy? That being said, the pick is in. We're going Austin Watkins. We're going back to that wide receiver pool because, again, we are going to get those weapons for our boy, Lamar Jackson. Now, here we are. A couple of interesting options here. So we're going to look at safety. We're also going to look at tight end yet again. You know how we do. So there's a couple of things we could do here. We could go with that kind of ordinary pick. We got 2 picks left. We could go with the James Wiggins, safety out of Cincinnati. Again, might be limited in the box, although he should excel there, right? Has some skill, shots on tape, reacting to the flats. Again, run defense isn't great. Coverage is okay. Explosive hitting ability. Clunky transition just means the dude is stiff, right? He's got to get a little faster. He's got to read a little bit faster. He's got to get his hips open a little bit more. Again, Christian Uphoff, small school dude. You know I love to find these guys. If you've watched this, you know I love this player. Again, didn't get to play in 2020, but was on the rise coming into it. Kylan Granson, another tweener kind of guy. Interesting potential pick for us. Play some fullback, play some H-back. You know, maybe just gives us a little bit of spice, if you will, on that offensive side of the ball. That being said, the pick is in. We're going with that secondary. We're picking up James Wiggins, a guy who's going to play on special teams again. give us that upgrade, give us some depth in that backfield. Again, we ran into those teams like the Kansas City Chiefs that just have wide receivers coming out of their ears, so we've got to be ready to match that across the board. Now, let's take one more look at tackle here. We want to see what we have on our big board, as well as tight end one more time. So again, we're back on that second half. Same thing. So Tony Pojon is your classic number 2, right? 6'7", though, 265. Maybe something a little bit there, right? Is he worth a flyer here, or is it Jalen Moore make a little bit more sense out of Western Michigan? Again, graded, got better. May not find better raw physical tools. Again, a guy that's got to develop, right? Can he come from the MAC into the NFL? Cole Van Lanen, now a little bit better pedigree coming out of Wisconsin, right? Excuse me. So it's zone heavy, which we are not. And then Ben Mason, tight end out of Michigan. So again, kind of the same thing. Kind of your typical Michigan tight end. Not going to be super explosive. Any of those things. Tommy Doyle, another guy that's really a developmental project. That being said, we've got to take the risk. We've got to continue to build up front. The pick is in. It's Jalen Moore, tackle out of Western Michigan. Draft is going to finish up here. Let's see what they have to say about what we accomplished here. Now, again, we went into this saying, let's get better on off, let's get more explosive, and better on offense, help Lamar Jackson, let's shore up that offensive line, and let's get some depth on that defensive side of the ball. So let's see how we did. Right off the bat, top 3 picks, A's across the board, as they should be. Plain and simple, Elijah Moore, a top 5 wide receiver, a guy that's going to come in and start for us right away, is awesome. Same thing, Azeez Ajuri, going to come in, play some of that hand down linebacker type thing. He's going to help us off the edge. Long story short, he's going to get after the quarterback and contribute. So we got 2 starters. We got 1 starter, 1 at a minimum rotation player, but probably a starter. And then Robert Hainsey's going to come in and compete for either that guard or tackle spot that we need to fill. They didn't love the trade. I thought it was good. We moved back 3 picks. We got our 6th rounder for next year. We got 2 picks now, but that's fine. To each their own. So, went back to the well. Dax Milne, wide receiver out of BYU. Again, we've got to address this perimeter wide receiver problem that we have. Again, going back to that depth chart, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing? That's why we're bringing in a ton of competition. We're going to see what they do in minicamp. We're going to see what they do in the fall. And we are going to have 2, 3, maybe 4 new starters in that top 5 wide receivers. Aaron Banks, again, a guy a little bit more of a need pick there. They didn't love it. I thought it was fine. But again, he's a guy that's going to come in. Hainsey knows him. These guys are buddies. They're going to come in. They're going to be great. They're going to contribute. We've got to continue to build that offensive line. We run the ball a ton, which is great. Sets up that play action for Lamar, but able to do that long term, we've got to have those guys in that rotation. Next up, Jonathan Cooper. Great value here at 122 being available. Can't believe he was there. That's just a great pickup for us. Again, that's another edge guy. Can play some special teams for us if we need him to. But again, going to compete on that defensive line. In case you didn't notice, we're not getting any younger up there on that defensive line. And these are guys that are going to help bring some youth, take some snaps, contribute, get some sacks, etc. David Moore, again, another thing, another reach. So probably between David Moore and Aaron Banks, probably only one of those guys makes the roster. But here's the point. We're bringing competition in. We got to get better. We traded away our best tackle. So again, we've got to get better there on that offensive line. Now, Cameron McCone, again, shouldn't have been available at 136. That was great value for us. Again, going to come in, be a guy, learn behind these linebackers, right? Maybe he slips into the starting lineup. Again, he's got that ability. He's going to learn. He's going to be great. And then next up, Austin Watkins, wide receiver out of UB, another guy. So again, like we said, we're going to fill up that wide receiver room with talent. And we're going to weed it out, and we're going to find the 5, 6 best guys. They're going to have to play special teams. They're going to have to contribute. They're going to have to freaking compete their brains out. Again, James Wiggins, more of a value pick there. We'll see these 2 guys, Jalen Moore and Wiggins, are going to be bubble guys in terms of the roster. But again, they are guys that are coming out of that MAC conference. So we'll see what they can do. Again, high talent guys probably available because, again, a little bit of a thing. But as you know, playmakers come in all shapes and sizes. Lastly, overall, an A for your dude, the People's GM, Not shocking. Look at this. We took a team that went 11-5, was on the verge of a Super Bowl run 2 years ago. This year, look at this. We got starters, we got depth, we've got explosiveness. This is a team that's ready to make a move thanks to this draft. Now, this is your 2021 Baltimore Ravens mock draft, brought to you by the People's GM. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we've got all 32 teams, so check out your favorite team or your other favorite team or your second favorite team or whatever you may like. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how you think you did. I will obviously correct you. If you want to do one of these, post that up. Tag me in it. I'll come over and give you why you did great or why you sucked. Again, my phone is available if any NFL teams are watching this, want to scoop me up before Thursday night. Speaking of Thursday night, we're going to go live, be giving those live reactions to the actual NFL draft. And then over the next couple weeks, we're going to be doing some reaction videos to what they did, see if they followed the blueprint, which they should have, or did their own thing, and see which teams got better and which didn't. Thanks for coming out, guys. Again, this is the People's GM. Until next time.